This is a Wahl ISOTIP 7700 rechargeable cordless soldering iron, and this comes with a built-in 2.4 volt 2-cell NiCad battery that's rated at about 1300 milliamp hours. And I'm not sure how old this thing is, but it is not taking a charge too well. So we're going to try to do a battery upgrade. On eBay they have these batteries. They're nickel metal hydrides, and they're 2.4 volt 3000 milliamp hours. So I know the charge rate of the charger is different, but the form factor of the battery is pretty close. So let's open it up and see if we can't transplant that larger battery inside this soldering iron. Okay, on the bottom of the soldering iron there's 3 screws. We're going to take those 3 screws out and open it up. Okay, so here's what it looks like, and we're going to go ahead and remove this contact, and we'll remove the battery and see if the new battery will fit inside there. Okay, well there it is. It fit right in. It's a tight fit, but it does fit in there. On the tabs, you need to drill those open a little bit. I used just a little hand PC board hand bit and opened those up, and then I guided that into place using an Allen wrench, and the screws kind of self-tapped and went right in where they belong. And on this contact right here, I cleaned up the other side. I just used an eraser and then some alcohol. It was a little tarnished, and I wanted to get as clean a connection as possible. Let's close it up, and then let's see how fast it heats up. Okay, so we got a new battery in here. It's not fully charged, but let's see how long it takes for this thing to get to soldering temp. It's about 7 or 8 seconds. That works for me. Okay, so next up we have an older 7800 iron. It's going to be a little bit more complex because this one has a snap disc thermostat in there, and you have to maintain a specific air gap for this thing to perform properly, because every time you use it you have to reset that so you can go back into the fast charge mode. So let's open it up, take a look, and see what's inside. So there's the inside of the 7800. Kind of similar to the 7700, but you know, there's more going on. You got that snap disc thermostat right here, plus there's a little charging LED indicator. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult to take apart, plus we got to make sure we get the right air gap between the cup and the sensor. There's the reset button. Anyways, let's start taking it apart and see what we got. Okay, so on the back of the 7800, on the positive terminal, there's actually 2 wires going through that tab. You got the very small wire that goes to the charging connector, and then you've got the other wire that goes, the heavy gauge wire that goes to the front, to the tip, one side of the tip. So what we're going to do is we will use the desoldering station here. I could use solder wick, but I think the best way to do this one's with the desoldering station. Okay, so that did work. Sucked all the solder right out. That wire is free, and we can go ahead and take it apart now. Okay, so there it is. Came right out. We'll go ahead and do a little cleanup. Pop the new battery in. Solder it all in place. Okay, so here's the 7800 with the new battery. It's almost all back together. I just need to do some soldering. First of all, on the positive side here, both the charging wire and the wire that goes up to the front. Now, to get that cup on the battery, what I did was I put the battery vertical upright in this vise, and I wrapped the battery with some wet paper to keep it cool, and then the cup right here I put on top of a monster soldering iron, this big guy. So I put the cup on the top, heated up the battery with the bottom, slid it out, and dropped it right on top of the battery, and it bonded instantly. So that's about the only good way to do it, is to heat them both up simultaneously with a monster soldering iron. And when they're both good and hot, just drop it on, and because you got the battery wrapped with the wet tissue paper towel, it doesn't overheat, cools down very quickly, and no damage to the battery. So let's finish wiring up here and see if it works. Okay, I think this battery probably needs a charge, but let's see how fast it heats up. So, about 8 seconds. That's a brand new tip. Alright, so there we go. We got a 7700 and a 7800. 7700 there, 7800 there. Both revived new batteries. There's the old batteries. Got the new batteries on eBay, and they arrived in a couple days. So there's the solution to fixing your ISOTIP soldering irons.